Do-it-yourself analytics has arrived, at least with guardrails. I'm Tonya Hall, and joining me is Kate Wright, head of augmented business intelligence, Hana and analytics at SAP. Welcome, Kate.
Hi, Tonya. Happy to be here.
Thank you. What do you do as your role at SAP?
So I run our augmented business intelligence product and development group. And what that means, I think a lot of people are familiar with business intelligence because it's been around for a long time. But augmented business intelligence is really around getting a step further. So business intelligence is around understanding what is happening in your business. But with augmented, we're trying to answer the next set of questions. So why is it happening? What are the factors that are really influencing why it's happening? And what is going to happen next? And we also like to ensure that people can really interact with information so that they can, simulate possible outcomes and change the future. And that's what we're trying to do and we're doing here at SAP with Augmented Business Intelligence.
Analytics has traditionally been a subject reserved for skilled data scientists, but with big data and the cloud driving business, organizations need to really rely on more than just a small handful of specialized experts. So how do we make sure and how do we make analytics more accessible to the general business user?
Yeah, there's a couple of different ways we can look at the problem. Certainly with, as you say, the data getting bigger and bigger, the possibilities are big, and that means that folks like data scientists and professional statisticians, they have a volume of problems they can work with. And what we find is they tend to be overloaded with simple problems because that's the easy things for them to solve. And those are the kind of topics we're trying to shift more towards the business analyst community that are typically or historically using our self-service or business intelligence tools. And what we've done is we've tried to put machine learning into a more automated, guided fashion so that simple problems can be solved by those same business analysts. And so topics like classification or regression, maybe what you're trying to do is predict how many days it's going to be before you close a particular job posting. And that's a regression problem. But you certainly don't want your business analysts having to learn about algorithms. So instead, what we're doing is we're automating a lot of that process. So the algorithm gets picked automatically, the data gets prepared, and the results are put together in a way that a business analyst can understand. So that helps with the more complex problems. I think the other category of problems we're really trying to solve is ease of use, because the other reality is that in companies today, it's a really small amount of people that tend to be using information and using these tools, even just the simple dashboards and reports. There still is a barrier of entry. And so augmented business intelligence tries to address that problem by really making it very simple, very easy for people to get access to information through techniques like natural language processing. So all you'd have to do is ask a question. So instead of understanding where exactly that report is, where exactly that data is, you could just ask, how is my marketing campaign doing this quarter compared to last quarter? And the system would tell you.
What are the steps organizations should take to help users get more comfortable with augmented analytics?
It's an interesting one because anything in the automated and augmented space is one that requires some amount of trust. And what I usually recommend to enterprises, no matter what exactly way they're coming at the problem, is to start small and earn that trust. As humans, we require understanding how and that we're going to get value out of something. And the best way to do that is to start with a use case and prove the value. And so, even with really simple problems where you can just ask a question, if it's not giving the value to the users and users can't trust those systems, then you're not going to get very far. And so I like to recommend that people start at the very beginning, see value, and then they can expand into more complex use cases, which ultimately, of course, the more hidden the insight, the more valuable it typically is. But start small, gain some trust, and work from there.
Then do we still need data scientists on staff to help with the transition, or can this be handled with managers and engineers?
Oh, it's a good question. I believe that data scientists will always have a role because, really what we're trying to do is we're trying to take those simple problems, understanding what's impacting why your employees are leaving, understanding what's impacting, your pipeline being down. Those kind of problems are quite simple. But data scientists have a lot of opportunity to work into really in-depth problems. And when we're starting to get into things where we're talking about deep learning and neural networks, those are still techniques that are not available to your average manager or business analyst. And so it's really about bringing more of that value to more people, it's not about eliminating any jobs in the data science space. I think for me, I can see that a lot of the data science teams we work with are actually really enthusiastic about well guardrailed tools for business analysts that they can also, read through and understand how they work and understand the trust, because it gives them a playground for those folks to work in, and yet gives them the opportunity to work on really interesting problems for themselves.
Which industries do you see leveraging augmented reality or augmented analytics rather the most?
We're seeing it in a variety of industries. Financial, oil and gas is taking it up quite big. The real estate industry is also interested. There's a great customer story we've worked with recently, AG Real Estate out of Belgium. They run real estate for shopping centers. And as you know, brick and mortar shopping centers are at a huge amount of competition from an e-commerce perspective. And so what they've done is they've done an implementation of S4 and SAP Analytics Cloud. And they've been bringing together data from the transactional sales from the stores, along with the cameras of people coming in, weather data, all the variety of things that influence when they actually get visitors into the malls. Because the thing that you can't do through e-commerce the same way is that human experience. And they want to guide people to have a better experience, but they need to make sure they've got visitors when they do it. And so what they're using is augmented analytics to better predict and forecast, and then see the correlations on their visitor trends to be able to schedule those experiences.
Thanks for the insight, Kate Wright, Head of Augmented Business Intelligence, Hana and Analytics at SAP. If somebody wants to connect with you, what's the best way they can do that?
I would recommend people to connect with me on LinkedIn. I write a lot of blogs, and I'm really interested in what's happening in the industry and would be thrilled to talk to people. I also encourage people to go to sapanalytics.cloud. You can sign up for a free trial and check this stuff out for yourself.
Sounds good. And if you guys want to find more of my interviews, you can do that right here or go to tonyahall.net. Thanks for watching.